One of the most undertold battles of the Eastern Front is the Third Battle of Kharkov, a battle that would help lead up to one of the biggest armored clashes the world has ever seen. In this latest update in Hell Let Loose, we get this Eastern Front map that takes place before Kursk and after Stalingrad. The map has got snow-covered fields, suburbs, railroads, river crossings, hills, and much more. The battle itself that the map is based off of honestly is not talked about compared to the battles I've already mentioned. But that's what we're here to talk about today. The new map, the history behind it, some basics about the map, its historical significances, inaccuracies, accuracies, and other bits and pieces about the map I can throw in there. But like last time, we need some context about the battle and why this map exists, and why is this battle important. So basically, Army Group South died during the Battle of Stalingrad, and they couldn't hold on to any of the territory they got during Fall Blau or Case Blue, and the Germans were very easily pushed back by the Soviets during Operation Little Saturn, all the way back to Kursk, which was liberated on February 8th, 1943. Kharkov would then follow and be liberated 10 days later. At this point, the Soviets pushed so far, they got way ahead of their supply lines and it gave the Germans an opening. The Soviets thought that the German armies to the south were too battered to counterattack them, but they were wrong. Field Marshal Manstein was able to rally the retreating German armies and was given command of the 1st SS Panzer Corps. This consisted of the SS divisions of Totenkopf, Leibstandarte, and Das Reich, and they were all well equipped and rested for the counterattack. Manstein launched his attack on February 19, 1943 to begin the Third Battle of Kharkov. The attack itself would last until mid-March, where the Germans would push the Soviets out of Kharkov and Belgorod respectively. This battle is considered the last major victory for the Germans on the Eastern Front, and after this battle, it was pretty much downhill for them, as the next battle up from this one would be Kursk, and that didn't exactly go well for the German army. The map itself is actually not based on the city of Kharkiv itself. It's based off the outskirts of Belgorod. It's the Belgorod outskirts objective, and using what I could find, I was able to find a couple maps to help me out here. Credit to Greitzen, a lead-level designer for Hell Let Loose, for putting what they used on the Hell Let Loose Reddit. I was able to find some old maps of the area that helped me in my search, and on top of using modern maps, I was able to see some correlations. The map itself takes place around this area, southwest of Belgorod. The map is split into two areas. You have a left side of the map that is dominated by snow-covered fields, while the right side has more buildings and streets with a couple wide open areas as well. The map gives you the best of both worlds. You have open field combat that is dominated by tanks, hills, ditches for sneaking around, and urban warfare with building by building fights and so on. Now, this map and its objectives have less in terms of historical context to go over, so I'm only going to touch on the two that I could have anything to confirm on, let alone talk about in historical contexts, and I'll talk about the rest of the map in its own little detail, but I'm not going to separate the objectives out like I did in my last video over Stalingrad. I'll leave a link in the video description if you wish to see that video. So the main hardpoints that can be talked about are St. Mary's Church and Belgorod outskirts, with St. Mary's Church being the center of the map and the main focal point of the map, a massive bombed out church. It's based off of St. Mary Magdalene's Church located today in Lviv, Ukraine. Now today there is a church that's still in southern Belgorod where this location is based off of. The other objective I can talk about is the Belgorod outskirts objective, which is a decent sized town area where building by building fights can be very common, with many different routes in and out of the city. This area looks to be the most comparable from the in-game map to the map that the developers used, so I'll give it an A+ on that one. A lot of the map was definitely made for gameplay reasons compared to the Stalingrad map, and it's a lot more obvious, which is fine. I merely bring this up for the sake of historical contexts. The gameplay is all fine. And I know it's a little disappointing bringing up this video as more of a historical context video in regards to the map, but there really wasn't much to go off of for this video. And some of the position names were very weirdly named in my opinion for the sake of gameplay. Areas like German Fuel Dump and Soviet Vantage Point being right next to each other, especially since that's the northern end of the map where the Soviet front line would be at Belgorod. So it kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit about the naming, but whatever. The rivers are put in also are not based on the map used by the developers, but again, it's for gameplay reasons. I'm okay with it. Also, this map has rocks that you can hide in, which is also very interesting. That'll definitely get patched in the next hotfix update or update. Did some more research and found I left some inaccuracies out of the Stalingrad video, so I'm going to mention some of them now, although there's still a couple of them that are still the same into this battle. The STG-44 and Gewehr 43 were still not around for this battle. That's really about it for the infantry weapons and accuracies. Moving on to the vehicles, the Puma recon tank was not around for this battle, being produced later in the war, such as around September 1943, and only about 100 or so were deployed for active service. The Panzer II Lux, although accurate, wasn't around in large numbers, and to my surprise, only 100 of the Panzer II Lux were made, which kind of baffles me why this tank was picked as the German light tank compared to the Panzer III. The Tiger, although in Stalingrad was inaccurate, it would be accurate here as this is where it's got its first Eastern Front battle experience. And the Panther is not in this battle either, seeing its first service to Kursk. The IS-1 wasn't around for this battle either, still being produced later in 43. The map itself is a nice map and offers a lot of different gameplay options with its open areas, buildings, hills, and rivers alike. The map is based off those of Belgorod and does a good job modeling that in game, but it's definitely a step down from Stalingrad in terms of historical contexts. Nevertheless, it's a fun map and good for gameplay, especially with the new DLC winter uniforms. But let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think, and what would you like to see? Next map I should be doing is Kursk, unless another Russian front map gets dropped for whatever reason. Thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in again soon. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.